I can guarantee the boundaries that you're going to set up are going to make people feel very uncomfortable. Who do you think you are setting all those boundaries? Who do you think you are? You're so selfish. You're so unaccommodating. They're so inflexible. Oh my gosh, I never knew you were like this before. And they're going to try to guilt trip you. Hi friends, my name is Hannah Grace. I hope you guys are doing well. So on this channel, we discuss about codependency, people pleasing, and codependency recovery, self-love, authenticity, and everything in between. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe and let's get into the video. So when you're too easygoing, it's really easy for people to take advantage of you and lose respect for you. When you haven't got any boundaries and you feel that everything should go, I don't want to cause a fuss, it opens the door for things to happen to you. It opens the door to disrespect. It opens the door to things that are not favourable to you. So it's up to you to decide what kind of things that you will tolerate, what you count as disrespect, what you would accept and what you won't accept. It all comes down to you. What do you want? Do you want to continue to be disrespected, or do you want to have a voice? And as you recover from codependency, this is the things that you need to be considering. How do I start having my voice back? For such a long time, I hadn't actually expressed how I truly felt. It was all pent up inside. And so coming out of that and realizing that boundaries is the way to go, it was very scary for me. Boundaries is definitely the way to go in order for you to gain that respect that you crave. Because I know a lot of us are craving respect and, you know, just to be treated the way we deserve to be treated, and not just treated as if we're second-class citizens, as if we're inferior to others. So in order for that dynamic to change, we need to set up some boundaries. So I'm going to give you some examples today, but before I get into that, I want to preface it by saying the examples I'm going to give you now are just, general examples. And you were able to properly set up boundaries for yourself when you were able to know what feels right for you. You yourself know that when you encounter someone and they act in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, or they act in a way that makes you feel disrespected, feeling disrespected, feeling uncomfortable are signs that a boundary needs to be set up here because you don't feel good about yourself. Effective boundaries makes healthy relationships. If you're able to set up healthy boundaries that will benefit you as a person, because at the end of the day, life is an individual race. You can't be, living life to please people. You need to live life to please God and to live your life for yourself. You can't be living lives for other people. So when it comes to speaking about boundaries, you look within. What are the things that's going to help me be more productive? And so you're able to go into depth into those things and say, okay, now I have to build a fortress around myself in order to preserve my energy. Because it's all about preserving energy. It's all about keeping your energy at high vibration and not feeling like I don't want to be here anymore because I'm so frustrated. I don't want to be here anymore because I'm not being heard. I don't feel like I'm able to express myself anymore because of this situation that's happening to me. You allow yourself to be by being self-expressive. And the only way you can be self-expressive when you create that environment of being able to express yourself, and that comes from setting boundaries. Boundaries are literally a reflection of how you think about yourself, how much you love yourself, and how much you care for yourself. If you value yourself, you will not allow certain things to happen to you. And so allowing anything to happen by, just trying to be overly accommodating is only going to put you at a deficit. And so that's why it's really important to also listen to your feelings, because your feelings are indicators of what's going on in your psyche. Intuition is giving you signals as to how you're feeling, what's right and what's wrong, and which directions you should go in. So when you tap into your feelings, it's important not just to be impulsive and just go off your feelings, but to explore your feelings by asking yourself questions. Why do I feel like this? And explore whether the messages that you're getting from your feelings are valid or whether they're just impulsive. And if you realize that, okay, there's something that I need to act on, you must act on, you must be assertive. And again, assertiveness is what we discussed last week. And assertiveness is expressing your feelings, your thoughts, your wishes with conviction, with ownership. You're owning how you're feeling. You're not afraid, you're not umming and ahhing. This is how I feel. And I'm just letting you know, and you're communicating that in a most healthiest way. You're not shouting, you're not ranting and raving. You're simply stating how you feel. So some boundaries that you should have as a recovering codependent and as a recovering people pleaser is that you must be able to say no to things that are not serving you. You must be able to say no to things that will zap you of your energy, of your time, and of your resources. That can come in a form of, someone's birthday party, you don't have the money at this present moment, but you feel obligated to buy a present because you feel you'll be seen as a bad person, coming to the party empty-handed, but you legitimately don't have any money, or the money that you do have is for bills. The money you do have is for your grocery shopping. And so to dip into those funds just to please someone else, that's a sure sign that you are acting out of codependency, and because you are trying to please them. You need to be able to set up emotional boundaries for yourself to protect your energy. So dipping into that, though you may feel good at the present moment, you satisfied that guilt feeling, that guilt has disappeared now because you've dipped into the funds of your food money, of your grocery shopping, or money that you set aside to pay bills, but you feel horrible because now you are at a deficit. Now you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. Now you don't know how you're going to have enough money to eat. And that's an emotional boundary that you need to set with yourself. And regardless of how much people pressure you, you need to say no. So boundaries around emotions, how you feel, how people make you feel, is imperative. You need to be able to say no. Planned out your whole day, and now someone has come along, your mother, your sister, whoever has come along and has now asked you, can you please look after my dog? Can you please take me out? Can you please do this for me? And then you say, no, I don't have the time, because you're now exercising your boundary, because you're trying to protect your energy, because you know you don't want to be rushing around and you don't have the time. But they guilt trip you and say, well, if you really love me, you will help me. You know how much this means to me. But you know you don't have the time. You know that if you were to help them with this certain thing, it's only going to make you feel frustrated. You're going to feel exhausted. And so what do? It's important that you stick to your guns and you be assertive and you say no. When I'm discussing about boundaries, I'm talking about emotional boundaries. Not necessarily physical ones. I'm talking about how you are feeling within yourself, because codependency is not in your outward appearance. It's the processes that go on in your mind that we need to deal with. Because the moment you can deal with things inside, it's easy for you to say no. Because at the end of the day, boundaries are literally you saying no to a thing and yes to another thing. Yes to preserving yourself. Yes to having what you need to feel happy, to feel content, to feel safe, feel at your best. That's what it is building a fortress around you, because you are the most important person to yourself. If you do not look after yourself, if you do not preserve yourself, no one's going to do it for you. Hence why we have boundaries. We have boundaries relating to time, your energy, your resources. You need to have boundaries associated with those areas of your life, areas of your being. You have to say no to someone who wants to take your time that you have already pre-planned. No to someone who wants to tap into your resources that you've already pre-planned. Or no to someone who wants to zap your energy. And it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, let me just quickly help them out. Let me just, squeeze myself and try my best to help them out. No, you shouldn't do that. That's a boundary. If that's only telling yourself that you're not worthy of what you truly want. How you treat yourself is an indication of how you respect yourself and how much you love and regard yourself, and hence how much people are going to respect and regard you. If you cannot give yourself what you actually need and you're just giving yourself a percentage of what you need because you don't want to upset or discomfort other people, it's only putting you at a deficit. So boundaries in and around and relating to your time, your resources, your energy. We're going from codependency to independence to interdependence. And before we get into the healthy stages of interdependence, we must be independent in ourselves. We must be able to stand alone, even if our boundaries don't make people feel comfortable. Because I can guarantee the boundaries that you're going to set up are going to make people feel very uncomfortable.
Who do you think you are setting all those boundaries? Who do you think you are? You're so selfish. You're so unaccommodating. You're so inflexible. Oh my gosh, I never knew you were like this before.
And they're going to try to guilt trip you. And again, another boundary to set up is an emotional boundary with yourself. Knowing the person is trying to project feelings and their frustrations towards you. You're able to know where to draw the line. This is their issue. That's not my issue. And I don't need to be emotionally involved in this person's issue. And that's the boundary you draw. Maybe they're trying to make you feel bad for whatever else, you didn't do what they wanted you to do, so they're frustrated, they're annoyed, and they're trying to guilt trip you. It's for you to say, I've already told you beforehand that I can't do it, and you're trying to guilt trip me and force me and manipulate me. That's not my problem, so therefore I've already drawn the line and I detach myself and my emotions from this situation because I'm not to blame here. It's you that has refused to accept what I said, so sorry, it's not my problem. When you say these things, it's going to be so foreign to you. You're going to feel like a fake. You're going to feel like, what am I saying? This is not who I am. I'm very accommodating. I'm very open to people. I love helping people. What am I doing? I feel like a bad person. But this is the only way you're going to recover from this matrix of codependency. Codependency is a disease. You have to see it like that. You need to heal from this disease to please. This disease to be accepted and validated by people. If you notice that the people who are sure of themselves, who have high self-esteem, who are confident, are the ones that are respected the most. And at the end of the day, you want to be respected, you want to be valued. And before that happens, you need to know that you are valuable. You need to know that your feelings, your thoughts, your wishes matter just as much as their feelings and thoughts matter. And I will go as far as to say, at times maybe more, because you are the most important person to yourself in this whole wide world. No one other than your children that you raise should come before you. And that doesn't mean you cannot be helpful, but there are certain things you know by setting up these boundaries that you cannot cross this boundary. And even if you do, special occasions, rare occasions, emergencies, not daily, I'm compromising my standard. No, I'm not compromising my boundary. I'm not letting down my wall. I know why I set this boundary up for a reason. So boundaries to do with your emotions, because your emotions are very, very fickle. Naturally, as a codependent, you don't want to be isolated. You don't want to feel bad. And so to be wrapped up in this emotional web of guilt is very toxic. It's very strangulating. In order for you to detach yourself, you need to have pre-planned your boundary. If this person starts to talk about an issue that we've already discussed before, I'm detaching. If this person is trying to guilt trip me, I'm detaching. If this person is trying to make me feel small for not doing what they want me to do, I'm detaching. If this person is coming to me and asking for my genuine advice on a matter, okay, I can give it to you. They just want to vent. This is my friend and she's really upset about what's happened and she just wants to vent. Okay, that's fine. When it gets to the point where you are becoming emotionally drained, the boundary has to be drawn, because you need to protect your energy. Even if it makes her feel upset. And when if for whatever reason she tries to manipulate you, again, you draw the line, because you are the most important person. But how can we enforce these boundaries? The best way to enforce these boundaries is to know that you matter. And I think with that mindset that I matter, my feelings matter as well. You know, I'm valuable as well. It will give you the confidence to enforce what you believe is right for you. After all, your intentions are not to harm, your intentions are not to be manipulative, your intentions are not to control, you're just simply doing what's best for you. The second thing is just being assertive. We spoke about assertiveness last week. You have to be assertive. And assertiveness is basically saying what you mean and meaning what you say, but without saying it mean. Assertiveness is expressing how you truly feel, what you truly think, and your wishes and your needs in a most appropriate way. How a person receives your message comes from your body language, your eye contact. Are you giving eye contact, or are you smiling? Because with eye contact, you're able to show the seriousness of your message. You're able to portray that the message that you're delivering is serious by giving them steady eye contact and not just flicking your eyes around. You're focused and you're telling them how you're feeling. And bearing in mind, we're not talking about staring. You know, what you actually say out your mouth, your body language, your eye contact, and being consistent in your boundary and not compromising will help you be able to enforce these boundaries. It's not saying it one week and then the next week you're compromising. You're not compromising. You're stating how you feel. You're stating what you think. And you're being consistent in it. Consistency breeds expectations. The more you're consistent in something, the more a person can expect something from you. If you're constantly saying, okay, this is how I'm going to be, this is what I expect, I don't like this, you've crossed the boundary, and you're consistent in upholding this boundary, sooner or later they will have to succumb to it. Sooner or later they will have to understand and accept this is who you are, this is what you want to do, this is what you're going to be upholding as a standard, as a boundary for you, and they have to accept it sooner or later. But in the interim, be confident, knowing that your feelings and your thoughts matter. Knowing that what you're doing is not for the detriment of your relationship, it's for the betterment of your relationship, for your betterment of how you see yourself and how you view the world and how ultimately you show up in the world. Because with healthy boundaries, you're more likely to show up as your most authentic self and to build healthier relationships, which at the end of the day, as recovering codependents, is what we want. We want to build healthier relationships. but it starts from being able to know what boundaries we should have. And as we go from personal boundaries, as we discussed today, there's boundaries that are more specific in different areas. Boundaries within dating, when you start dating again, if you're codependent and you want to start dating again, there are boundaries that are pertaining to romantic relationships. It is with growing children, as it is with younger children. But today we just spoke about a generic boundary setting. But when we get into things like dating, when we get into things like relating to other people in different cultures and backgrounds, your growing children, it's important that we have more specific boundaries tailored to those different scenarios and different relationships in our lives. Just to reinforce the point that you have to be courageous, you have to stick to your guns. Do not back down. Do not say, well, the pressure's getting to me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it, I don't know if I can hold back the resistance too long. Because that's how it was for me. I felt like, oh my gosh, this is becoming too much. Like at first I thought, okay, I can do this. They're taking it, they're understanding it. Yes, they're upset, they're reacting to it, but at the end of the day, they're still taking it. But then it got to a point where I feel like, oh my gosh, this is too much resistance that I'm coming against. Should I just back down and just let them have their way? Then I had to keep reminding myself, if I truly want to change, I have to do something. If you want something different, you must do something different. You cannot keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. If you want something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. Was what was giving me the energy to carry on and to persevere, because the resistance I was coming against was so much. Internally, I was having such an internal battle.
So like, oh my gosh, you gotta, oh my gosh,
I was just going crazy. But I had to remind myself that if I want something I've never had, I must do something I've never done. And I haven't actually put my foot down, and I kept my foot down. My foot has always been hovering off the ground. Every now and again it touches the ground and I lift it back up again. Oh, I don't know. It hadn't ever been fully down. And actually putting my foot down was a scary experience, but it's definitely something that I'm proud and happy I've done. And it's not the end, it's a constant journey. Every now and again you may slip up, but just be consistent. And knowing that your boundary setting is not for the detriment of other people, it's for the betterment of yourself. And at the end of the day, we want the best for ourselves. We're not doing it to hurt them. If it's at their expense, well, I come first. I'm not saying you can't be flexible, but I'm saying do not have that in your mind that, oh, I'm going to be compromising. Don't compromise. Bear in mind, this too shall pass. Whenever it feels like, oh my gosh, this person is really pushing back and I don't know if I can hold on any longer, this too shall pass. It's not going to be like this forever. It's going to get easier. So I hope you guys have got value from this video today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below and I'll be happy to answer them. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.